Hello.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to I Got Problems podcast. I am Sandra and
I'm Doyen.
Yes. So today I think Doyen, I want to give her the floor and I would let her speak her heart out and rant. And it's very, very, I guess, related to the current holiday, I guess we'll say. So I'll let her rant and take it away.
Okay, I'll take it away. Disclaimer here, this episode is going to be about the 4th of July. But I will be at cookouts and parties and stuff.
How dare you celebrate 4th of July?
I'm not celebrating it, but if somebody invites me...
We are boycotting 4th of July. I thought this was a general black consensus.
Yeah, it is, for the most part.
Oh my God.
But I'm just saying, like, if somebody sees me...
When there's food, black people just throw everything away. That's what happens.
Okay, but isn't us boycotting 4th of July by having a picnic technically a way to celebrate 4th of July?
It's technically around 4th of July. I think the boycotting was supposed to replace 4th of July with July 7th, where we're supposed to just do all black-owned stuff.
I have like a birthday thing, but it's like a picnic.
It's a birthday,
and it happens to be on 4th. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, either way, it's just gonna look like I'm celebrating. So whatever.
I mean, just make sure you put picnic birthday, so it's like...
So it's just like, if I put this episode out there and then people are like, oh, so you talked about this.
So you turn it up.
You ranted, and then next thing you know, on 4th of July, you were sitting around eating picnic, shining your teeth with your family. So I'm just putting it out there.
It is a holiday, guys, so people do get the day off. You can't just give the day back.
But that doesn't mean I'm celebrating, the white people's forefathers, grandfathers, ancestors, fathers, whatever.
Black people weren't free on 4th of July.
So this is what this episode is about. It actually is, should black people celebrate the 4th / who should celebrate the 4th?
Right.
Shouldn't even be celebrated by anyone, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's what this episode is
half the country thinks America should be great again, even though we don't really know what great means. Because
gosh,
when was America great?
Let's not even get into that. Let's talk about the 4th. Let's stay on topic.
Okay.
So today's episode is about the 4th, and I want to give you guys some, good, nice, whitewash history lessons about the 4th of July, and then we can, dibble and dabble and talk about the current status and what we've now learned about the 4th in America and where we live.
And the episode, our producer's left. The last episode was on basically Black history, another Black history of Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. So go figure that out.
We're gonna roll.
Yeah, we are. Like, Black Lives Matter, So go check that episode out and learn about that history as well. It's very educational, including this one when you're done.
So... let's talk about how on July 4th, 1776, as you guys may all know, we were comprised. Oh, not we. Okay, we were still slaves. America was comprised of 13 colonies, and at the time they were seeking their independence from England, or as we all know it, the Great Britain. And in that event, there was a bunch of white men that came together and said, "Listen, we are going to write this document. We're going to call it the Declaration of Independence. And we're going to ask the Great Britain to free us, release us."
I mean, it wasn't like they were like, please.
No, but like, honestly.
And they were like, all right, you got it.
They also were like fighting for their freedom. So I think that was one of the most ironic parts when I was like researching this. Is like, wow, they also were trying to break some sort of bondage. I mean,
it's just go around and keep others in bondage.
Right. You can't compare it to slavery. I'm not saying that by any regard. But I'm saying it's so crazy how people are actually living in some kind of financial bondage or whatever it might have been. And they weren't free. But at the same time, they were keeping a bunch of people locked up and calling us.
But then again, Nigeria's been free for 60 years or something. Like, it's not that long ago. Yeah. A lot of countries are still trying to get their independence. I mean, it's kind of sad.
So... they called them like a Congress committee or something like that, or I don't remember what they called themselves. And so they basically came together. It was comprised of Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Roger Sherman, Robert R. Livingston, and Thomas Jefferson was already named. Okay, I don't know why I have him twice. So all you need to know is a bunch of white guys came together and said, America needs to be free. Mm-hmm. We're tired of living in bondage. We have rights. And so they crafted this document actually on July the 2nd.
Ironic also because we're asking for the same thing now. And
they're like laughing at us.
Stop talking.
Right. And then by July the 4th, it was widely accepted. By July the 6th, it was printed. The declaration was printed for everyone to see. And it was, whoa, we're free now. And the funny thing is that when everyone was saying we're free, we're free, we're free, as you guys may have heard of Frederick Douglass, he was a very important activist. He was a poet, a writer. I don't know if he was a poet. It was an author. He did write poems, but like he was an author. I don't know if it's fair to classify him as a poet because I don't really know too much about like his writings. But he was an author. He was an activist. Mm-hmm. He fought a lot for Black people to be free. Mm-hmm. So he had said, actually, this 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, but I must mourn. So,
which makes sense.
The funny thing is, like, we're still having this conversation, and it's 2020, guys.
Martin Luther King did the same thing. All these people did the same thing. It's just frustrating that we can't get this. It's like if there's not mental freedom, there's physical. Mm-hmm. If there's not mental slavery, there's physical slavery. There's psychological slavery. It's just, Jesus, why must a group overshadow another group? Why must a group enslave another group in some form or shape? Like, I don't get it.
And it's like, I think the part that's most frustrating for me is for the dominant group to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just making it up. Right. Everything always has to be about you African Americans.
You guys are all a lot always complaining. Like, please, you have this, you have that, you have the third. Why aren't you just happy with that?
Do you know?
But were you happy with that when you fought for your freedom for July 4th?
Do you know how many times I've heard it's always about the Black community? We're just tired of it.
How is that a thing? The United States is 70% European population. And it's 13% Black and whatever the rest of the percent is for the... It's just crazy because we don't make that much of a population.
We're tired too. We don't want to keep talking about race.
People are actually saying that they're tired of the Black Lives Matter movement because it's been going on for so long. And I'm like, you think the people back there were tired of, fighting for... Do you think we'll have freedom right now? If MLK was just like, man, I'm so tired. Other people are like, we're tired of you, MLK, please stop. And he's like, all right, you got it. Like, and he stopped fighting for freedom.
The funny thing is, like, Black people are tired too. That's the funny thing. But
if you're tired, imagine how tired we are.
If you would just stop, listen, and then make the changes, maybe we can also be tired together and stop talking about it.
And if you made the changes, we would stop complaining. Like, if I was complaining that I didn't eat today, but I finally ate, I wouldn't complain about being hungry anymore. Right. Like, what is so hard to understand?
You might remember how hungry you were a couple of days ago.
Like, I was so hungry, but so mad? It feels so good to finally eat something. Like, that's what it's like. It's not that difficult. Instead of complaining, I don't want to hear you complain about being hungry anymore. How about you just give me some food so I can shut up? Like, it's not that
Especially if somebody brought you into their house, threw you in their basement, locked you up, and then you kept saying you're hungry.
Hey, they're like, slave here, can you feed me? Why do you keep
talking about that you're hungry? Because I had locked you up 30 days ago. Well, that doesn't make me not hungry.
Or they lock you up, they're like, hey, I locked you up in the basement, but at least you have a roof over your head. Some people don't. Why are you complaining? Like, that's pretty much what it feels like half the time. It's like they give you a sprinkle, a grain, and they're like, at least you have a grain. Why are you asking for a bowl?
But honestly, like, this rant is just to say, like, even though we're talking about this on this 4th of July, it might be news to some people that haven't heard about this. But 4th of July has actually always been a problem for so many groups of people. And it's not just been a problem only for the Black community.
Native Americans.
For Native Americans.
Imagine. They got their freedom. 13 colonies came together as the United States, got their freedom, and they said, that Native American land, it looks mighty fancy. Let's just go take it from them, like they did for us. Like, how do you leave and then go take something else from somebody else? And then say, hey, America, like, you didn't just come up with this. You just pulled this out of your ass and said, America, here it is.
So the whole time, the thing is that they were only fighting for themselves. When you think about the group of people, the reason why I stated their names is that when you think about the group of people that were fighting for this or who were at the forefront of making and creating this document, there were a bunch of wealthy white men, which is so true for the community and society that we still live in today. The society is constructed for wealthy white men.
Basically the 1%. And the 1% have a problem, then it has to be fixed. But the 99% has a problem. It's like,
and they're not hearing us out because it doesn't make sense to them. They don't know our perspective because you didn't give everybody a seat at the table. At the time, Black people were still property. So you didn't even hear out anything a Black man had to say.
Imagine people celebrating around you. And apparently in 1777 was the first, they got their freedom, or I guess emancipation, whatever you want to call it, for America, and created the 13 colonies that became America in 1776. 1777 in Philadelphia was when they had the first, like, July 4th celebration, which is just like, how dare you? Meanwhile, they're slaves somewhere, like, still cleaning. They're the ones putting the food together and watching you celebrate your shit, and slaves are sitting there with their ancestors. Everybody's just watching.
So let's just note that, yes, as you said, even though the Declaration was written in 76, Congress didn't actually establish the Independence Day as a holiday until 1870. And by 1938, they reaffirmed the holiday by making it a paid holiday for all federal employees.
And Juneteenth is still not a paid holiday.
Nor is it even really acknowledged by anyone.
There are companies that are acknowledging it and states that are acknowledging it. Maryland acknowledged it, but it's like it's already been acknowledged.
It's just
not
acknowledged.
Yeah,
it's not paid.
And it's crazy because it's like, oh, we acknowledge it. It's like,
But
we already acknowledged it. We don't need you to sprinkle more acknowledgement. Do something about it. Make it a holiday.
Take some time, don't you see?
It will.
They established it as a holiday in 1870, but they didn't start giving people like the day off and paying them until 1938. So it did take a while.
Oh, it's just,
so let's talk about how far behind we are. And since the 19th century, you know, July 4th has always just been a reminder for a bunch of people that weren't included, that didn't get a seat at the table, that this holiday wasn't for them. For abolitionists, for suffragists, for civil rights activists, for those that were involved in the Vietnam War, for those that were part of slavery, imperialism, sexism, for those that have that are now locked up in cages because, you know, our government doesn't think that they're people and that they don't have rights. There has always been this siege of the 4th of July to bring light to those things. So this isn't the first time that it's happening. All we've really learned this year is that we haven't come very far. We keep thinking that we've come so far, but we have not.
We haven't. We're still fighting about the same thing.
There's a lot of marginalized groups that always question if the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness really applies to them, or was it just only for the white man?
It's not. Go, literally, Black people, Native Americans, Hispanics, like, go ask any other minority group that's not the majority.
Yep.
They're going to complain about the same things. It might be a different story, but it's the same battle. Like, we keep having the same issues, and yet they want us to kind of just shove a burger in our mouths and play some fireworks and celebrate.
All American!
Right! And
put some hot dogs in the grill!
Have you ever felt like the people who put... This is a side question, but do you ever feel like the people who have the American flags in front of their house are racist?
Oh no, I get scared. I'm not, like, we might laugh about this, but I am scared. I'm terrified. Like, if I go to our neighborhood, because this has happened to me before, and every single person has an American flag on their door, I am turning around. I'm going, I think I'm in the wrong place.
Right.
Like, the one time I did that, I was going to go pick up...
That's all of Mississippi.
I was going to go pick up a friend. And it was actually in, like, a remote area in Maryland. It was, like,
Everybody
in the like, Gaithersburg area, like, in Maryland. Like,
right.
But you know how, like, most houses are not as like that in that area, I guess. But there was, like, this neighborhood that was just like that. Every single neighbor had, like, American flags lined at their doors. And I'm, like, calling this girl, like, oh, you need to come out right now.
Right.
Because we're in the wrong neighborhood. She's like, oh,
That's how you go missing. And everybody in that town will be like, we didn't see nothing.
She said they're nice. And this person was a Nigerian, but told me that the family member that she had been staying with that owned that home was also a Donald Trump supporter. So.
It's almost like they go hand in hand. I don't want to group everybody in this category because I know it's not everyone. But when you see
most people in that neighborhood were.
I just want to tell you, if you're a white listener, just understand why we feel that way because of conversations like this and our previous episode when people are having these flags. I mean, you see the struggle of the United States and what's happened to minorities in this country. Why are you so excited to put a flag up and celebrate such death, such darkness? You know, like, how are you this excited? It's almost like you're blinded to everything else and how America was built on the backs of slavery and taken from the Native Americans that you only see the great parts of America. How is America great when literally 400 years was spent building America on the backs of slaves with no credit or reparations?
The slaves that are still not acknowledged.
No reparations either. And like you said, if they were to give reparations, the country would burn because all those people with their flags up would literally come and burn your home to make sure we have another Black Wall Street. We have another Seneca Village. We have another, situation where Black people are finally on the same level as us. And it's like, nope, gotta create the class. Class has to exist. Class has to exist almost because people they require that feeling of being above somebody else. If they don't have that feeling, then what is life? What is living? Yep. If I can't feel like I'm better than somebody else, what is the point of living? That's why the 1% exists. They want to make the choices. They want to make the decisions. If everybody has the same decision-making power, then it's democracy. And we know, in case you didn't know, this country is not a democracy.
Yep.
If you're still wondering, obviously not. Because if you really were a democracy, Hillary Clinton would have won last year or 4 years ago. She would have won because she got the popularity vote. But guess what? Electoral College took the vote because they were like, yeah, we see what you said, but this guy looks better for us. And that was pretty much what happened. Not to like simplify it, but in summary, that's what happened. So what are the facts anyway that we should state, or I guess
so our
statements?
facts are more centered around the things that Frederick Douglass had talked about and said, and his representation and his perspective, because that should allow other people that might not understand why 4th of July, boycotting 4th of July is such a big deal for marginalized communities.
And also, it's actually illegal to print the American flag on items. Like, you're not allowed to have household or regular items be used. Like, it's almost like you're taking the American flag and you're stepping on it. Like, I don't understand.
Does that rule apply to like Bible and Quran?
No, here's the thing. It's supposed to apply to everything, but when the Colin Kaepernick thing happened and people were complaining, saying he was stepping on the flag and blah, 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 I'm like, how can you complain about that when you wear t-shirts with the American logo? You buy plates on July 4th with American logos. You use napkins with American logos. You use, the American flag on it.
How is that illegal though?
There's some unknown law. I have to go research it. I can put the law, if you want to learn more about the law, I'll find it. I'll put it in the description box. But it's literally just talking about how you're not supposed to, it's like almost like paraphernalia. You're not supposed to use the American flag as a paraphernalia to sell items because it's like what the country stands for. And you can't just, but I'm like, but every July 4th, though, all you see is a bunch of stuff with the American flag on it, all these stars and stripes and banners everywhere. And you want to complain when Black lives and Black people start complaining. If a Black person now says, Black Lives Matter and steps on a flag, that will be the end of that person. They will drag you. But hey, I can use the napkin to wipe my mouth and throw it in the trash that has the American flag on it, and that's okay. Stop being a hypocrite. It's insane to me. Please stop being a hypocrite. If you're gonna fight about something, keep the same energy the entire way. Don't fight about something that makes it convenient for you to be racist or classist or just hateful. If you're gonna fight about something, keep the same energy. Or otherwise, I'm gonna call you out. Just don't meet me in person because I'll be the person to be like, but because if you ask the regular person, I've done it. I've used, I went to a July 4th cookout. I used a napkin. If I'm really that crazy about Americans or American lives, I would be like, man, all the soldiers that fought for America, how dare I use this napkin? No, I cannot.
Yeah.
But do you do that? No, because it's celebrations.
I feel like patriotism and religiousness almost fall in the same bracket. Like
it's subjective.
That
That's
same
problem.
fanatic behavior or sickness to me
tiring.
Is common across the board.
It's tiring. I'm just honestly like...
Because religious people are like that too.
They are. They just ignore the parts
You just find your one thing that you want to be a fanatic about and then you just do
and you just follow it. The same thing, I don't know if you heard, I was on a Balade's podcast, I was on live with Balade's podcast. It was just a coincidence. I just happened to be listening in. I was like, let me take a 15-minute break. And then people were talking about submission. And I was like, you guys who are religious, they always quote the part of the Bible that says, women, submit to your husbands.
I'm trying to hear that live, bro.
You're triggered.
It's a trigger.
And I was telling him, I was like, any man that says women, submit to your husband and quotes the Bible, make sure you ask him what the line under that says. You catch them off guard. Because they don't know anything else. They don't know anything else about that Bible verse except that one line that supports their ideas.
The only one line that people like to say all the time.
Under that it says, men, like, love and treat your husband right. Love and treat your wives right. So it's saying at the top, the only way that a woman is going to submit to you is if you treat her right. If you don't treat her right and you don't show her you're a leader, she's not going to submit to you. So why do all y'all,
because they're like dictators. They're just like, I'm a man,
I have
a woman.
Penis,
submit.
So
Submit.
My penis says you must submit to me. My penis says you have to worship me. It says it in the Bible.
As a Nigerian,
it's a quote. It's almost like they walk around with a banner. Women, submit to your husband. It's so tiring. Like, please, if you're gonna say submit to your husband, keep the same energy. Because I will ask you what the next verse says. If you cannot answer me, your argument is debunked, totally trashed, and completely disregarded in that conversation. Do not bring that up. So the same thing applies for this conversation. If you're going to celebrate America and all its greatness, please celebrate all the other aspects of America. The Native Americans, where they took the land from. The Black people who built America, mind you, without reparations. The Hispanics who come here, who do all the services you refuse to do, but claim they're taking your jobs. Do all of that. Like, make sure you
acknowledge it. Don't just throw it under the rug and be like, that's not true.
That's not true. And then build a wall. It's like, trust me, if you took away all the Mexicans here, not to group them in a category, who would do your landscaping? Because the landscaping industry is taken over by Mexicans. They're doing a great job doing it, but it's taken over by Mexicans. Who would do that? And a lot of people who are documented who work in the kitchens in the back of the restaurants. They don't have documents, so they can't work legally.
Or
so they work
construction
in the kitchen.
work.
Who would wash the dishes?
There's a lot of work that people don't do, or like janitor work.
But people
and stuff
swear
like that.
those white
Or
racists
cleaning,
in the mountains,
raising your children. There's a lot of things that people,
they'll be like, "Oh, but they're taking our jobs." Will you do the job though?
They won't.
If you're not going to do the job, then please, for the sake of God, just shut up. Like, there's no reason. I'm frustrated.
We're back to our rant. I thought I was more ranting.
Oh, God damn it.
No, this is a very triggering.
It's triggering because it's just like, I'm so tired of having the same conversation. And I hate hearing the conversations of, every time you hear it, it's like they're taking opportunities that Americans would blah, blah, blah. It's like these people are literally the ones keeping this country afloat. The black dollar is keeping this country afloat. Black people make 13% or less of the population, yet we spend almost 50% of what's, and that's why they say that the dollar spends less time in the black community than it does in any other community. When there's a dollar in the black community, it takes like less than 5 times for it to circulate and go out. Other races, they keep their dollar within the community 10 times of circulation before it goes out. In the black community, it's less than 5 times. That's not good. That means we don't keep our money. We spend it everywhere else.
I mean, they spend money too, but everything is white owned.
It's white owned.
So
they're supporting each other. They're supporting each other and building each other up. Meanwhile, black people don't own a lot of things, so we kind of don't almost have a choice. But once again, black owned businesses, we're all like, please support them. Because if people are going to tell you, they're going to offer you whatever they want to offer you and you take it and they're racist, you don't need to give them your money, please. There are other companies. And I can promise you.
There's a black person somewhere that can do it.
There's always another company. You just have to research it. And please don't be that lazy person who's just like, oh, I can't find it. It's literally everywhere, especially now. It is everywhere.
Just go on Instagram and ask somebody how you find it.
Literally. I even made a YouTube video about black businesses you can follow. It's online. It's always there. The resources you just have to open your eyes and search. Please.
All right.
Please.
Let's jump into our facts and stats.
Okay, so there's like not that many, thank God, because we're talking for like...
Yeah, it was more like a story.
It's more like we just had to get it off my chest. But I know we're not the only ones who feel like this, so, But yeah, in 1852, Frederick Douglass gave a speech entitled, What to the Slave is the 4th of July? And in New York, the speech laid bare the hypocrisy of a nation so eager for independence, which they got, yet so reluctant to bestow the same independence and freedoms to the enslaved people driving the country's economy forward. So, once again, we said it was built on black lives. It was built on the backs of slaves. But yet, reparations have not been given. What we're owed is not given. And, the conversation just can go on and on till tomorrow. And there are people who are going to... I mean, if you ask any, my blood flows red, white, and blue American... Will they say, reparations are due to black people? Or will they be like, I honestly want to hear that comment. I want to hear what they have to say.
They'll probably just say that it's already been paid and black people need to stop talking about
it. Yeah.
The one thing that I keep
they always bring up affirmative action.
Yeah, affirmative action. And I always just hear them say that they're tired of talking about the black community. Well, we're not tired of talking to you. We're going to keep talking. So it is what it is.
Tell them how you feel.
Until we get our reparations, we're going to keep talking about it.
Listen, y'all, we're not asking for too much. I mean, honestly, it's not saying too much to say, hey, my ancestors helped build this country for free. I'm not even asking
Put us on the same plane.
Reparations is in trillions, I believe. Many trillions owed. We're not even asking for trillions. To be honest, if you just give every black person a home, a land, that could put them ahead.
Land will do so much.
They were supposed to give 40 acres and a mule. Nobody ain't got that
Don't you remember that, didn't the white people get land?
They did.
After
for $1.
Was it after the Great Depression or something?
I believe so.
There was a major event that all the white people got land.
I don't know if it was during the gold rush or something like that, but people really
something
just went around.
Happened. I don't remember what
it was $1 worth of land, and everybody got a few acres or something. Black people, were they even free then? I don't know
what was going on.
I think it was still I think black people were free, but they weren't. There was Jim Crow. They were still being treated like shit.
Either way, just freeing black people on paper didn't really mean that we were free.
And mind you, we're still fighting for the same shit.
I'm pretty sure when they all got land, I'm pretty sure black people did not get land.
They didn't. And they were supposed to. That was part of the freedom term.
Or there was that sharecropping thing where they would say you can work on this
plantation. Yes, but you're basically still a slave, but by choice.
Yeah.
They're basically choosing to be a slave.
There were too many laws.
You can have a land and we'll provide you what you need, but you have to work for us as a result. So you're working for your product. You're not working for money, which is still a form of slavery. It's taking advantage of somebody else who needs it.
Either way.
So
just pay us Pay us our coins. Give
Pay
us
me
some
what you
land.
owe me. Like Rihanna says,
I agree.
bitch better have my money.
Like, I agree. Like, it wouldn't be too much if you just gave every black person some land. Now, where I would be mad, black people, is after you get that land, if you sold it off, then I'm gonna be mad. If you just sell it right back to the white people and be like,
we have to create our own communities.
So I can buy some Louis. No.
Yep. And you have to build communities. You honestly do. You can't sit there and keep talking. And it's just like, it's a complete mess.
It's a conversation we have to have on all sides. We need to tell the white people what they need to do wrong, what they did wrong, and what they can do right to fix it. Well, not fix it.
Buying a house puts black people in debt, which puts you at the basically at the mercy. Yeah, but black people who don't have enough, you're less likely as a black person to get a $50,000 loan from your family. I heard somebody who was saying that they were like doing trying to buy a house, and the person was like, "Oh, why don't you just get a $50,000 loan?" A lot of our clients do. She was looking at her like, "Does she even know that I'm black?" Or like.
Yeah,
like
this doesn't
being
tone deaf.
You're not realizing that we don't have the kind of privilege you do. Your uncle can borrow you $50,000 and say, "Pay me back whenever." As a black person, you have to be in debt. Same thing for education. A lot of the debt happens with black people. A lot of the student loans are owned by minorities because black women have the most education. So who do you think owns the most of the debt? We can't afford to go to school. We can't afford to do the basics that the average person does. So it just kind of sucks in the end. So it's like, just give us a little bit of something. And if you're not, at least some respect and not just be so ignorant to what's going on, like July 4th and why it's really celebrated. All you have to do is listen to this episode. And then the second pointer here is 11 years passed after Douglas's speech before the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Abraham Lincoln in 1863. It wasn't until 1865 when the last enslaved people in Texas learned that they were no longer in bondage, which is where Juneteenth came from. But even after slavery was abolished, freedom and independence were empty and hollow words because they still treated people like trash. So not only did Texas take forever to figure it out, people were still treated like trash even after the last person was freed. So July 4th, really, do you celebrate July 4th or do you celebrate Juneteenth? And if you do celebrate Juneteenth, do you completely just disregard July 4th or do you still acknowledge it like, oh, I'm in this country as an American, so like, July 4th exists. But Juneteenth is my holiday because that's my people's freedom, Like, same thing, do you celebrate July 4th and, Nigeria's Independence Day? Because I celebrate Nigeria's Independence Day because that's my country. But you're going to...
What are we celebrating? I don't know what we celebrating, really.
Nigeria be lit. Nigeria be lit. All these parties, like, I gotta say. I mean,
they can't give their simple.
I know Nigeria has its own problems, but they're free.
Rights.
They're free. At least Nigeria.
Are you really free in Nigeria? Are you really free in Nigeria? But that's a whole nother topic.
You're free to do stupid stuff like, do 419. So there's that. But
you're not free to be a lesbian, or else they'll lock you up for 13 years.
Okay, there's that. Anyway, guys, that's not the conversation today. Nigeria has its own problems.
It has loads of problems. So, like I said,
that could be a topic for Doyen to express her feelings in the future. Let's talk about maybe
that could be another
specific episode for Nigerians only, as Nigerians about our experience. And then, so the last few things we'll mention is the resources. So I guess I'll
Are
say
we not doing the questions?
Oh crap! I forgot. Dang. Oh, okay. Ask me one question because I think we're running out of time.
Well, will you be celebrating the 4th of July?
I'm not. Are you?
I'm not, technically, Just because you see me at a barbecue that's like for somebody's birthday that happens to be on the 4th does not mean I'm celebrating the 4th, okay?
Sure.
I'm not celebrating the 4th.
Guys, my job is paying...
Are you going anywhere tomorrow? Is there a cookout you're going to?
No, I'm going hiking tomorrow, y'all, because I'm healthy. I'm going hiking. I'm going to go hiking, and I'm going to walk the mountains and shake my fist in the air and yell Black Lives Matter at the mountaintops. One of my guy friends who's familiar with the Maryland hiking slopes or whatever.
And it was just because he wants to take you to hiking, not because it's a July 4th holiday.
I hope not, because I wasn't thinking too much of July 4th. I mean, we're both black, so I hope not. I mean, I'm going to call him and be like, fine. Is this why?
Maybe you're not. You're always going to cookouts, so I thought you'd be going to one.
That's funny because I didn't this time, so,
This is harassment at this point.
Our producer has been like, time. Okay.
Now he's literally just holding it over our faces.
Okay, we get it. Fine. Okay, resources. Fine. Do you want to answer the second one?
Do you feel slighted that Juneteenth is not an official paid holiday, but the 4th of July is?
Yes, I am. Okay, fine. Yes, I am, simply because Juneteenth is something that should have been acknowledged a long time ago, but for some reason this year it's just being acknowledged. And I think because you said it takes a while for them to acknowledge paid holidays, it's going to take them a while to acknowledge Juneteenth. I agree. Companies are just saying, oh, by the way, my job gave me 1 hour off on that Friday. 1 hour!
At least they did. My job didn't give us no time off. They just told us to come together and do some leadership of color, and they did some program for us, and that was bullshit.
I can see my therapist. You can keep that shit. Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to take a while. So, we'll take what we can for now. We'll at least least they're trying.
Let's jump into our resources.
Okay. Yeah. So there's therapy, primary care physician.
Always.
BetterHelp on IG and Helping Minds on IG. They also have websites. BetterHelp has a 1-month free trial, so please take that into thinking and make sure you take advantage of that. 1-month free trial is better than 7 days, which is what they used to have. So and then the last two, the
last two links are just sources where I got most of our information for today's episode. So if you want to learn more, read it in more detail, make sure you click those links. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to our podcast. Give us 5 stars, and we'll love to talk to you.
Write a review, please.
Write a review, and we'll love to talk to you next week.
And if you have a choice, leave a voice message in your option so you can let us know what topics you would like to hear or how you felt about our previous episodes. So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you later because we're already behind.